I'm gonna put this over to you and maybe make you turn a little bit red because you've spoken to me about this and what your take on this is.
Yeah, but, like, in what
So
I think
like, am I putting you on the spot?
What happens when a media personality and a sex therapist grab a mic? You get Spill the Tea, where the tea is hot, the truths are unfiltered, and things sometimes get downright steamy. From sex and relationships to life's messy, hilarious, and shocking realities, Will Nash and Maria Orrego aren't holding back. It's about to get deliciously messy.
I think it's time for us to just get naked.
Oh my god, could you imagine? I'm sure there are podcasts like that, though, that people are naked during podcasts.
Are
Yes.
you old enough to remember Naked News?
That rings a bell, but
It was this show which would have never made the light of day today, where it was like people were doing like newscasts but naked. So like you would see like for the I don't remember
did
if
you
it was
see
like blurred out or
everything?
how they did it, but it was like they'd be sitting at a desk and they would be completely naked doing the news.
Okay, I don't think I do remember, like, an SNL probably skit, like, that's what's coming to mind, like, SNL, like, they would do, like, the newscast desk and, like, they'd be, like, topless and the woman would have, like, very well-placed, like, plants or something.
Yeah, yeah. So that was probably actually like satire for that show at the time. Like this has to be like late 90s, early 2000s, like, I'll have to go look it up afterwards, but yeah, Naked News, it was a whole thing, right? Um, and if you're just tuning into this podcast now, it is Spill the Tea with Will and Maria, and the reason why I bring this up and I say, "Okay, everybody just take your clothes off," we can't see you, so do what you wanna do, is because we're actually talking about the concept of being natural, being in the nude, being in the buff, because I'm not going to mention this person by name. What I am going to say, because I haven't checked with them yet, but earlier this week or last week on Instagram, we put it out there about we wanted to know like what are some of the other podcasts that you are listening to that you're consuming. And a couple of people, believe it or not, had actually shared some I don't know how to describe it, but like nudist podcast. Is that right? Like, am I saying that right?
I think so, yeah, I think they're nudist podcasts, yeah. I didn't look any of them up, and I think, like,
Okay.
obviously, after this, I probably will, but I do wonder if it's that they talk about nudity or if they are nude or if it's for the nudist community. Like, there could be so many options.
So I didn't actually listen to them, but I did look them up enough to see that okay, like they were an actual podcast and they have like a cover photo and they're official and all these things. And yeah, so it looks like the whole concept of embracing nudity, whether it's like a colony or whether it's like a nude beach or whether it's like a naked resort. Like, so I was just like, you know what? This is something that we have never touched upon,
Mhm.
pun not intended. And it's like, let's just ask, put it out there and see what kind of comes back. And it's been interesting because when it comes to nudity, like in 2025, it's interesting because I believe that if you want to be free and you want to be in a space where you can be that way,
Okay.
respectfully so, privacy issues taken
Mhm,
into concern as well, and
mhm.
respect for one another. But it's something that we've never talked about. And I'm going to put this over to you and maybe make you turn a little bit red because you've spoken to me about this and what your take on this is.
Yeah, but, like, in what
So
I think
like, am I putting you on the spot if I say that you're comfortable in your own skin in that way?
oh, one no, no, not at all. No,
Okay.
I
Okay.
always have been though. Like, I was raised in a Spanish family, so if you know Latin Americans, we are very comfortable in our bodies. And like your sexuality, your body, your skin, like in that way, like it's something that is very much and maybe like to an extreme, like it's a pride, right? Yeah, I've always been comfortable with it. However, I will say this: I am comfortable with nudity within my own home. I'm comfortable with nudity within, like, the context of, like, my, like, family, right? And, like, that comfort and, like, with certain friends, whatever it is. But I'm also though, because it's funny, my therapist brain, because of what I did before I became a sex therapist, because I was in more like the trauma space, I'm
Yeah.
also incredibly careful with nudity when it comes to like children, or when it comes to like being like, you'll never see me changing in public is what I'm trying to say. Like, I am the person that, like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and you'll see me wearing perhaps revealing clothing, but I will not go to a change room and change in front of other people. Like, I respect other
Okay.
people's space. I actually cringe when I walk into a change room and I see people walking around. Like, like, there's always that old lady, and I'm sure you've
Oh,
seen
I
it
know,
with like,
yeah, so you're
right?
talking about more so, like, at a gym or at maybe, like, a
Yeah.
pool, right? Like a public sort of community
Yes.
center. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to see you, like,
Like
like, showering, like, in those public pools where the showers are open and there
oh,
are
yeah.
no, like, I'm like, "I don't need to see that, other people don't need to see that," like, it's not. I feel like the context is really important, like, if you're at a sex club or you're at,
Yeah.
like, a burlesque show where, like, those things are, like, normalized and everyone's agreeing to nudity and everyone's agreeing to, like, what's going on, 100% go for it. But I don't know, I'm one of those, like, people that are like, "Please go into a change room." Like,
So
there are stalls for a reason.
why is it that it's always, and it's definitely this way at like in like the men's room at either a gym or at a pool or even maybe a spa, um it's always the wrong people that you don't want to see naked. Like I see that hot guy out there at the gym, muscles are bulging, and it's like, okay, like maybe, if I end up in the change room at the same time, like I'm not mad at that, but it's not him. It is that
No.
70, and hey, you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number, but it's always the ones who are the most brazen, who are like 75, 80 years old, like balls on the floor, everything sagging. And not that there's anything wrong with that. And it's beautiful that you feel that way, that you don't have any inhibitions. But I mean, man, like I wish I had that level of confidence as that 75 to 80-year-old, bald, droopy, wrinkled man to just parade all over the change room like that, because I do not have that, right? It's never the ones who you want to see. Like, does that make me a horrible person?
No, 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 I don't think it makes you a horrible person, but that also reminds me of, like, the clips, the satires they always do of, like, that old man that always puts his leg up when he's talking to you in the change room, right? And he's got, like, the open, towel, and
Yep.
I've asked partners before, obviously, I've never been to a men's change room, like, I've asked partners, and they're like, "Oh, no, no, that happens." Like, it fully happens if you're talking to someone after, like, tennis or squash or whatever it is, and, like, they come in and they start talking to you about, like, business, and they put their leg up. And it's like, "Well, I don't need that in my face." Like, I don't. No,
It's,
thank you.
It's funny because we've talked about this before, like the difference with like sexuality and, porn, adult entertainment versus reality. And
Mm.
like this is a time where, you know what? If I'm in the change room, give me that adult entertainment, give me that fantasy, give me that porn moment, because I don't like, but the reality of it is that you're probably getting Gerald, who is 80 years old, has been, he worked out for about a half an hour, then he went for a swim, then he went into the sauna, and he might take a shower when he comes into the change room, but I don't want to see Gerald. Like, no
Mhm.
shade, Gerald. Don't want to see it. But with all that being said, we're kind of poking fun at this a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
The concept of nudity, yeah, it's like I I don't know. Like, I think that I'm maybe not as comfortable in a
Mhm.
public space with it
Yeah.
as some people who I, like, know are. I mean, for instance, like, in Toronto, you go down to, like, Hanlon's Point, like,
Mhm.
super popular gay spot, right? Not
Mhm.
that can just have to be gay to go there, but, like, they're known for that, right? They're known for those, like, nude beaches and, all that.
Nice.
So, yeah, I don't know, I'm not really sure, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm a prude, but I've never been in that sort of I've never been to like a nude beach. I've never been to like that. Um,
No, I think you know what? The way I always say it, I'm like, I'm fine with being nude. I don't need to see anybody else nude. Does that
okay.
make like I would be comfortable if I went to the beach by myself, or like I have
Mhm.
a cottage where it's by myself, and and I've done this, right? Where it's like I know like there's no one around and you're sunbathing and all that
Yeah.
kind of or you're swimming, right? We've all done like the skinny dips. That to me is like wonderful. It's heaven. It feels amazing on your body. And it's just like a really comforting feeling, right? Like we're meant to be technically nude all the time. I just don't need to see anyone else. Like I don't need to see everybody else naked.
You know what's
You
so
know?
funny though? Talking, no, I know, and talking about being at the beach, being at a cottage, or being at a private space, right? I
Yeah.
remember the first time that we were messaging offline, and I think you maybe had sent me a voice note, and you had said, "Oh yeah, like oh, it's so I'm by the beach, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful, like I'm by myself, like you had a book," and I was just like, I don't know, like I kind of thought that was pretty badass because I was just the fact that you're like that you were so comfortable sharing that with me because I think that I don't know, how long we had known each other for. And I was like, man, like that is a level of like honesty and just transparency that I
Aw.
think is so commendable because like A, like we were kind of still getting to know each other. And
Mhm.
B, I mean, there's a lot of people who would almost like A, not say it, or B, shy away. Not that you needed to tell me anyways, but I just love the fact that you felt like you could tell me that and the honesty with that. I was like, yeah, go off, Maria. Like, right? Like I love
I
that.
love honestly, I think that's one of my I will say that's probably one of my favorite feelings of the freedom of being I'm very privileged that our family has a beautiful like space that is very private. And so when all 20 of us are not up and it happens to be on the right weekend where where it's like just me or just me and my partner,
Yeah.
is a beautiful feeling, and I do encourage people to do that. Like there's a freedom of being able to sit not only in your own thoughts, maybe with a book or some music or like just being in nature, but
Mhm.
then also feeling grounded and just nude and just being like, this is who I am. Like there's nothing else. There's no masks, there's no clothes, there's no description or labels on me. It's just this is who I am. And there is obviously something incredibly vulnerable and scary about that, right? But
Well,
there's
that's yeah. And it's just the whole thing. It's like, I mean, it's like when people talk about like having sex in different places beyond like your home or your bedroom, right? Where it's kind of like the risk, not that you're necessarily having sex, but it's just also like the risk that's involved with that. And that is kind of spicy. Like, that is kind of hot. So it's like, I think that if I had a space where I was like private and I'm by the water and I know it's just me or me and my partner, or I guess me and someone I really, really trusted, yeah, like I mean, I'm not mad at that. Like, and I think that we've all like I think most people of a certain age have gone skinny dipping at a cottage, and that's more thought of as like a silly thing than it is anything else. But the way that you're describing, your experiences with it, I just honestly thought were beautiful, and I think that it's like I bring that up, all jokes aside, hopefully not to embarrass you, but more so to get people to kind of like rethink about that in that way because not, I mean, I've had, a number of close friends over the years, but it's like most people are not that open, and I really, I applaud you for that. And that's that's yeah. So that actually kind of takes us to what we're talking about today on the podcast. We actually do have like, depending on our timing, we do have a couple of questions that have come through in regards to this, which ties in quite nicely. So, is it a green flag if someone is extremely comfortable in their own skin, or is that secretly a red flag for being an exhibitionist, which might make me uncomfortable in this relationship?
ooh, that's a great question. I
Like,
feel
I think of, kind of almost piggybacking off of what we just were talking about, our
yeah.
own sort of perceptions and, acceptances of nudity. I don't think at all it is I don't think it's a red flag if someone is comfortable in their own skin, right? Because being
No.
comfortable in your own skin, whatever that might be defined as, I think is always a good thing. It means you're probably really self-aware, you have a lot of confidence, um, there's all of that, right? I don't the whole concept though, like even what you were just describing before we got into this
Mhm.
question, I don't think we're not talking about you being an exhibitionist. We're
Mhm.
talking about you in the privacy essentially of your own home, being comfortable with that, right? So I think that that's a bit of an assumption to think that someone who is comfortable in their own skin could be an exhibitionist. I mean, I guess that is a part of it, but I don't think you can assume that they would be an exhibitionist because they're comfortable being nude, or they're comfortable in their own body, or they're comfortable honestly, even if they were at, like, a sex club
Yeah.
or a steam room, I don't necessarily think that that means you're an exhibitionist. Do
No,
you?
I No, I think there's context, like you just said, right? Like if you're at a sex club, you're in the privacy of your own home, you're in a sauna, steam room, whatever it is, and like the context makes sense. I think for me, it would be a red flag if like my partner opened the door naked. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody
Like, you
knocked,
mean like sorry, when you got home, or you mean, like, in
no, 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 to like the public. So like, let's say somebody knocked.
Oh, sorry, okay, okay.
If my partner and I are walking around the house and we're comfortable walking around perhaps nude, if somebody knocked on our door and he just went and answered it and didn't put something on, I would feel I that to me is a red flag. That's like, no. I think there's an appropriate level of nudity and then
Yeah.
there's like an inappropriate context of nudity, right? Like I think that there's a time and a place for everything, right? Just like there's a time and a place for sex and there's a time and a place for intimacy, there's a time and place for
Mhm.
nudity, and I think we still live within the context of like an appropriate society. And while I understand people wanting to feel fully comfortable in their own skin, I still think there's like a level of appropriateness when it comes to like both of our rights. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think
No,
if
I
someone
know.
show up naked to dinner, I'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah,
why?
I think that that's you hit the nail on the head with that one. I also think my voice went up an octave as we're talking about this, but it's all good. I think the thing is that, even if you're in a relationship or an open relationship and you're comfortable with the concept of nudity, it's it's I think you still have to be aware of what each other's comfort levels are,
Yes.
because they might not be the same. Even though you align on a lot of different subjects and morals and values, you might be comfortable, having your ass out at the beach, but he might not be as comfortable with that, right? Or it could be a situation of like you both align on that, right? And
Yeah.
that's part of what makes things very connected and um loving in that sense too. I think that that's a thing to
Yeah.
think about, but I don't necessarily think that if someone's because the question truly was like, is it a green flag if someone's comfortable in their own skin? Yes, it's a green flag, but is it secretly a red flag for them to be an exhibitionist? I know it's not much of an answer, but not necessarily. Again, I hate it because I hate to be so generic with my answers here, but I think that it really boils down to understand, like, what does that mean? If they're comfortable in their own skin, are
Yeah.
they so comfortable that they're having sex with everybody on the street? Then yeah, that's a red flag. But if they're so comfortable that they, take care of themselves, take pride in their body, they have a lot of self-awareness, and they just happen to be comfortable in those specific environments
Mhm.
where you can be nude with your
Mhm.
partner,
Mhm.
then I don't think that that's a red flag, right?
Yeah, I would actually even flip the question around because I've had couples that have, let's say, complained that one of them is comfortable being nude and the other one isn't. And so when even like they go to bed, one of them is fully in the nude and the other one has like full pajamas on, right? And so that they felt has interfered in their intimacy because one person is like, let's enjoy each other's bodies, let's feel each other while we're sleeping. And the other
Mm,
person is like, I feel incredibly insecure. I don't want you to see me naked, right? So it does, and then it's one of those like, well, what are you comfortable with in the relationship? And is this compatible for the two of you? Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't feel comfortable in their own skin and they won't walk around naked or they won't shower together or even popping out of the shower, they'll like immediately put on a towel because they don't want
right.
their partner to see them, right? Like sometimes it goes the other way where again you have to ask yourself the question, is this the partner that I want to be with if this is something that's incredibly important to me, that we are comfortable and vulnerable with each other's bodies, or does it not bother me that I've never seen my partner naked?
And if you haven't, well, it's time to start. That's what I say, right?
But
Come on. Well,
think about it though, like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I could like throw out a random statistic that some couples have never actually seen each other naked. Like
Like,
if they
like, like, sorry to interrupt, but ever?
But think about it. If they jump into bed with clothes on, right, with
Okay.
pajamas, and
Uh-huh.
they're only having sex in the bed and the lights are off, then perhaps they haven't.
And listen, you're the sex therapist here. So it's like you probably had those conversations with people. I guess, yeah, that's a good point. That makes single people feel pretty good. Hearing that statistic, like, thank you for sharing that for all my single peoples out there. Because
You're
I don't know, it's so funny, right? It's that whole concept of like when you're single, you just assume that everyone who is in a relationship is like having sex all the time. And I'm just like,
No!
I mean,
No.
I'm kind of joking, but you always think that on a weekend though. Honest to God, like if you're at home and you're single on a Saturday night and it's just so quiet, you're not hearing her or what. I'm like, I bet you they're all having sex right now while I'm here just by myself and
Oh
lonely.
my god, no. No, because it's funny because I think married people think, like, they're at home, they're on the couch, they're both in PJs, they haven't showered or whatever, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
single people are probably out there, like, screwing everyone they can find," right? And it's like, no, not everyone is having sex the way that you think they are, right? And not everyone has experienced that type of life. No, I it's funny because I sometimes hear, like, those, like, random statistics, like, "Well, I know people are having sex 3 times a week at least." I'm like, "Where did you hear this? Like, where did you find this random stat, and are you just hearing it on TikTok that this is quote, unquote, healthy,
right.
when most couples aren't actually having sex that much?" Like,
Well, and it's funny too, right? Because when you think about talking to even your friends or your close friends you're checking in with every day or every week or every few days, and it's like, yeah, like, and people will tell you about their weeks, right? And I'm like, even as someone as a single person, this is where my brain goes. It's like, yeah, there's no way. Like, how would you if they've got like the partner, they've got like the 3 young kids, and like talking about like what your week was. You went from work, and then you went to soccer practice, then you came home, then you made dinner, and then you like. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe it's not like all these married or coupled up people are not as living these like adventurous sexual lives as I think they
I
are.
dare you
And
to start asking them, though. You should start asking them, like, "So how many times did you have sex this week? You told me how
oh
many
my
times you went
god.
to, like, gym. You told me how many times you went to soccer practice.
Oh
How
my god, can you imagine I start asking my friends this? Like, just it's different if someone offers you that information, but if I'm like, "Oh, you said how many times you get laid this week?"
just curiosity.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not talking with yourself, I'm talking about with somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not nude by yourself, but nude with other people. Oh
So
my
listen,
god.
I know we've been talking about this for a little bit, but I have this other question that I really wanted to quickly sort of bring up if we have some time for it. So, hey, Will and Maria, my best friend loves sending nude-ish, tasteful pics for feedback before sending them to her situationships. Am I am I her supportive hype person or an unwilling creative director? Which is interesting the way this question has been posed, right? So I think it's one of these things where it's like, um, is there an uncomfortable level there? Like, should you feel comfortable? I'm trying to like figure out exactly what the answer is here, but my best friend loves sending nudist, tasteful pics for feedback before sending them to her situationships. Am I supposed to be her support? I think what they
Yeah.
meant. Am I supposed to be her supportive hype person or unwillingly telling her this that like I really don't want to see these photos. Like, what do you do in that situation if a friend of yours is sending you those photos? Like, what role would you play and what's appropriate?
Oh my gosh. I'm, like, stunned, to be honest with you. That I
I know.
can't I think because I put myself in that situation, like, would I ever send my best friend, "Hey, by the way, I don't know if
Yeah,
you" I
yeah.
that. Um I think that before anyone gets into this situation, there should have probably been a conversation. Like, I don't know, like,
Mhm.
if I felt like I don't maybe if I were to send you a picture of, like, just my outfit for the night, I'd probably be like, "Hey, I'm sending you my picture. Are you cool with it?" Or, like, I'd ask you what you're wearing, what am I
Yeah.
wearing, you know what I mean? I don't know if I would just it seems odd that someone would send a picture without a conversation of like, "Hey, are you okay if I send you this picture, and could you tell me if it's good or bad?"
See, I thought this question was interesting, and the reason why is because I have been told by other people that I kind of like hype my friends up, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and you
and
do.
not in a way that is insincere and not in a way that I don't mean it. Because often when I've given like a friend of mine a compliment, present company included, some people have been like, "Oh, like that's so sweet of you to say," or "Oh, you're too nice," or "Oh, you're too," and I'm like, no, like honestly, like I'm okay, but I'm not like the nicest person on the block. like, I'm gonna tell somebody, like, if I'm saying that's a great shirt or that's a great dress or you look
Yeah.
hot or whatever it is, like, I mean that. Like, I'm not just gonna be telling everybody that they look wonderful if I think that they don't, right? Um, and
Which,
I've
by
actually
the way, I
yeah.
think that makes a great friend. I
Oh,
cannot stand when people, no, seriously, because I think it's important. Like, if you don't think that somebody looks good or they're about to walk out as a disaster, you should
mhm.
tell them,
You
right?
know
Or
what's funny though? I had a girlfriend, a friend of mine. She sent me 2 photos, and she's like, "I'm going on a date with someone that I met on one of the apps." What? And she said it was in a group chat with me and another female friend, and she's like, "What do you guys think is like the best outfit?" Right? And me and the other friend had differing opinions on what it was. So I was like, "Fine, don't take a gay man's advice, anyways. Goodbye. Have a good night." I mean, listen, I'm sitting here in a hoodie, so I'm not saying I'm some sort of a fashionista. But that being said, no, it's like, yeah, like I don't know. But again, um, are you? I think that is something you should probably establish. Like, I
yeah,
couldn't imagine someone who I don't know. I could imagine because gays will be gays,
yeah,
but I think that, like, in this situation, it's clear that it's a female to a female, and I know that not to generalize, but I think that a lot of women can be comfortable sharing things with each other that maybe men are not always,
yeah.
especially when it comes to straight men. But I don't know, like, if one of your close girlfriends, your best girlfriend, sent a photo of herself, like, butt ass naked, like, are you gonna be like, "Oh, okay, like, why are you trying to show me, something here?" Like, it's like, how do you react to that? And, like, is it an awkward conversation to say, "Hey, listen, like, I'm not comfortable." Should you be able to have that conversation? Because I think you
I
should.
think you yes, I think you should definitely have the conversation. If you're not comfortable with this, you should definitely put a boundary and say, like, "Listen, I don't think that this is the type of friendship that I'm interested in."
Are you still up?
Also, I would challenge my friend, though. I think if somebody were to send me a picture like that, I would challenge them to think, like, "Why are you asking me to validate it before you send it
Mm,
to this person?" Like, again, I think that goes, like, to your own, like, enoughness and self-worth of, like, if I'm gonna send you this picture, like, of course, I mean, everybody's done it, right? Where you take, like, 1,000 pictures or you, like, try to, like, angle certain ways with the light or whatever.
yeah.
Like, we've all done that.
Oh, yeah.
But then choose the one that you're the most comfortable with, and it's like it's the one that makes you feel good, and if your partner doesn't like it, well, then that's, like, other issues that we should probably talk about in a different podcast, but I don't think seeking the validation of somebody else when you just need to be validated, like, within yourself is hugely important. You know? Also, I don't know if I would be sending pictures to situationships. That's
Yeah.
in and of itself, you know? Like, I feel like that's a
Again,
whew.
I will say this, I do think that, not everyone, but like gay men as a whole have a whole different set of rules than like the rest of the world. Just speaking as one myself, and speaking from both sides of that. But I agree. I think that you want to make sure that if you're sending these photos to someone, A, it's private. B, the comfort level is there on both sides. Because I do believe that if the comfort level is there on both sides, why not? But trust is huge, and we
Yes.
know that sometimes when things don't work out the way we want them to be, it can get nasty. I mean, we've heard these cases where, people are in court over unsolicited photos.
Oh my god, yes. I will say though, like there are if you're in a situation where you wanna send these types of pictures and you're, like, hesitant or you don't really know what looks good,
Mhm.
there are actually a few and now I'm, like, obviously gonna blank on their names. There's a couple Instagram photographers actually, like professional photographers who do a whole series on how to pose for a selfie, like a nude selfie or like a spicy selfie. So that I like, you can look those up and you can get some
Mhm.
advice. Maybe you don't have to send it to your best friend, but you can, like, learn how to look good in one of those pictures without
But
having
so this is a great idea, but I will say, if you're in the heat of the moment and you're caught up and you're just
Yeah.
feeling it and you just wanna kinda get into it that way, I mean, we ain't got time to book a photo shoot, Maria. Like, we just
No,
wanna
not
get
at
that photo out there.
all. No, they teach you how to do it yourself, though. Like, the photographers
Okay.
to yourself, like, the how to where to set up your phone and how to sit or, like, where to position certain pillows and stuff. Like, they
Mhm.
you to do it on your own. And so you kind of learn what looks good in your body. And again, like if it's something that you are doing on a regular basis, maybe like test it, like take a night where you're testing different things, right?
Yeah,
And
no,
then
it's a
you,
great idea.
I don't know if
I'm just more so poking fun at the
I
whole
know.
shoot. Yeah, it's not.
I don't know. A photo shoot sounds like fun too, though.
It does. It does. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for sending in these questions. It was kind of fun to do a topic that we never had, really spoken about before. So I won't mention the person who had sent in that they listen to a lot of podcasts on this topic, but hopefully you found this one interesting. And I know you're a big supporter of the Spill the Tea podcast, so thank you so much for that. Speaking of which, if you're listening right now, make sure you subscribe wherever it is you listen to or watch your favorite podcast. Rate us 5 stars only. And yeah, follow us on social at the Spill the Tea Pod. And that's a tea.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Spill the Tea. Got a burning question or a scandalous scenario? Slide into our DMs. We're ready to spill it all and maybe stir things up a little. Follow us at the Spill the Tea Pod, at Will Nash on Air, and at Sex Off the Pedestal.